Welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night. It's live, 9 o'clock. This is what we've been waiting for. Club rugby season has struck. The fever is all over Cape Town, and it's all everybody's talking about right now. It's all over Twitter. It's all over Facebook. We're still trying to get into the newspapers, but at least we've got TV. But club rugby fever is here. The first game started on Saturday. It's been excitement like you haven't seen in many years. I can't even dream about what's going to come over the next 6 months. It's going to be crazy. My panel tonight, Mr. Herman Abrams, Deputy CEO of Western Province. Hello, Mr. H.
Good evening, JB.
How are things going with your new acting president?
Oh, fine. He's amper seker hy staan nie plek vol, but hy staan sy plek vol.
Hy staan sy plek vol, yeah. John Dobson, the coach of the Vodacom team and the 21 team. Welcome to the panel.
Thanks, James, very much.
Long overdue that we get you out here. We've got a bit of a glistening effect there, folks, so you can you work it out for yourself. And Morgan Newman, not far from the glistening effect himself.
How's it, James?
How are you, Morgs?
Yeah, good.
How's training going?
No, not too bad. Tough weekend, but yeah, good. Looking forward to the week.
Tough weekend, eh? Well, we'll touch on that in a minute or so. Yeah, folks, so let's just get straight into it. Now, we're going to have a jam-packed show. As you know, of course, now that the season has started, we've got so many leagues, logs, and results and fixtures to look at in the club space, and we want to make sure the club rugby space gets priority. Super 15 is still there, and we'll look at that. But at the end of the season, we want to make sure that we've given every one of your clubs a mention somewhere along the line, that somewhere along the line we've put your jersey on the show, or we've been at your match, or we've interviewed one of your players. But somewhere along the line, by the end of the season, our goal is always to have featured you on the show at some other stage. Let's go straight into the Super 15 results now. Let's take a look and see how the guys did. Well, there you have it. The Lions going down to the Bulls 32-18. The Cheetahs losing to the Chiefs 39-33. The Brumbies, a nice win for them, 37-6 over the Rebels. The Force going down to the Waratahs 23-18. And the Sharks, 29-23 win for them over the Blues. And, of course, the sad loss for us over the weekend, even though the guys gave it guns blazing, was the Stormers losing to the Crusaders by just 7 points. Mr. H, it was one of those games that I know some people wanted to say Crusaders, but it was a tough game, and close. I mean, bad luck. These things happen.
It happened, and I mean, people are saying injuries and so, but those things are part of the game. So
it happens, yeah. I mean, Jean de Villiers and Andries Becker must be two of the unluckiest players when it comes to injuries in the history of world rugby.
Yeah, and always at the crucial time.
Always, and when we've lost Skalk. John, what do you make of the injuries in the Stormers team? I mean, we've lost Skalk, we've lost Jean, we've lost Andries.
We were doing incredibly well until this weekend. You know, it was only really Skalk because the captain was out, and that's why we were doing so well, because we put on the same backline, the same pack of forwards, except for Skalk, but now it's gone wrong now.
But we've played some games down under. I mean, last year, remember, we played the Reds and we took them. Devenacher moved to fly off. Yeah. It was completely unexpected team. There was no way the Reds could prepare for a game like that. They didn't know who was going to go running in with their action. And we beat them. We beat them with a largely untested team. So it goes to show. I mean, that's why my prediction this week is definitely on the Stormers.
Even with a 6-day turnaround.
But we've got some serious talent there. Yeah. I mean, the guys are even. I mean, that's what you've been building all this time, is making sure that the depth is there.
I think the Super Rugby now with this crazy thing to August, it's the team with the most depth is going to win it. It's not going to be the best rugby team that started this season. It's the most depth, and I think in Western Province, thanks to our structures here, we're probably one of the better positioned like that.
Morgs, how do you see it?
Yeah, James, look, I mean, obviously the Vodacom Cup side is doing really well at the moment, so bodes well. I mean, the Stormers can call on anyone in that side, and I'm sure they won't miss out too much. But also, the Stormers are such a tightly knit bunch of guys that I think, sometimes setbacks like this pull the guys a little bit closer, especially being away from home. Media will leave them alone, and they'll pull in close. I mean, like last year was a good example. Devenacher moved to fly off, and they still performed. So I think the same sort of thing will happen this week. And I mean,
you've trained in the setup many times, and you've obviously at times you've played off the bench, or maybe come back into the team, maybe not on the first team, but if you're not playing first team, the second stringer knows the moves and the drills as well at this stage, as well as the first stringer.
Well, look, I mean, what you'll find is that a lot of the starting guys during training will actually, because they've had a tough 80 minutes on the weekend, a lot of the guys are the reserves, and a lot of the backup guys will actually run a bit more at training. Yeah. So you actually, I mean, like I say, I don't think they'll lose out much having some of the Vodacom Cup guys fully in their place, and then also the reserves. It's the right time of the season for them to get a run. So sometimes force changes isn't bad.
Let's hope for the best for the Stormers. Let's get a quick look at the conference logs there. and see where the guys are standing at the moment. There you see the Stormers are firmly on the top. At least now they're in joint position on top of the conference with the Bulls. The Brumbies are on the top of the Australian Conference, and the Chiefs are on top of the New Zealand Conference. In the full conference, the Chiefs have now managed to move to the top of the pile, and the Stormers are in second place still. The Lions right down at the bottom. What a shocker for them. Mr. H, you were going to say?
I was going to say that I've heard the rumor that the team who have the best dancers will get the bonus point at the end of the season. And Brian is right at the top.
I'm not going to comment on that.
He's
I'm
right
not going
at
to
the
comment
top.
on that because, when it comes to the team dances, it's debatable. Right. So, okay. It's time now, of course, for us to have a look at one of our sponsors. Evox is the primary sponsor to the Cape Rugby TV show. It's the product that we're talking about now. Is to get through the season, you have to be able to have depth. Depth is not only about having players' depth, but depth is also about making sure that you're recovering from game to game. Jono, would you agree with me on that?
It is about the recovery. As the tournament goes on, it's more about management and less about training.
Yeah. I mean, you want to make sure that your player can get from game one all the way through the season, and you don't want him to lose weight during the season either.
Yeah, I mean, you look at NFL, there's stories of the week of Super Bowl final, the guys are training for 20 minutes because the rest of the time they're just recovering from that, so you did right.
Yeah, 100% right, folks. So if you want to get yourself in the mix for the season, and it's still 6 months ahead, especially the coaches out there, you should be listening very carefully, is you want to make sure that your players don't lose any of that weight that they put on the off-season. Yeah. So Evox has got for you some products that you can put yourself in line to win in a minute. This is your Mega Grow. It's a plain meal replacement protein. Remember, it's very difficult to eat enough meals in a day. So all we're saying is get yourself a meal replacement. It's got the protein, it's got the carbohydrates, and this fills those gaps between breakfast, lunch, and supper. And it also, incidentally, is when you're tempted to go and buy that pie or that cheeseburger, you have the shake and it replaces that. So this is your protein product. This is very important for your day-to-day management. And then your rapid recovery. We're going to build the Leaning Tower of Pisa again. Rapid recovery is very important for you guys. Extremely important, in fact, to be able to practice at 100% from one day into the next day. There's no point going to a practice session today, giving it guns blazing at 100%, then tomorrow you haven't recovered and you're only training at 80% because you're tired. Okay, so very important that within 20 minutes after training, you get yourself a decent recovery product in so that tomorrow when you hit the field, you're back up to 100%. Or if you're doing a marathon or if you're doing run, aerobics, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but you want to make sure that you're always training at 100%. Because that way, tomorrow you can actually train a little bit harder than you trained the day before if you got a little bit stronger. And then just also to top that off, a little bit of creatine to add an overall extra bit of recovery and strength to your performance. We are running this as a competition. This is your little mini rugby pack. Of course, the Stormers use many, many more of these products. They use meal replacements and pre-training drinks, and then, of course, the proteins and the recovery. The Stormers use a lot more than this, but this is your basic little elementary entry-level rugby pack, and you can win this for yourself very easily. All you need to do is tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. The slide will come up in a second and you'll be able to see. There you go. There's your rugby pack. All you need to do is SMS the number 33280. Tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers, and you can win yourself this rugby pack with a rapid recovery, a Mega Grow, and a creatine. Last week's winner. Congratulations to Nathan Fulyun. Nathan, you win the rugby pack. We'll be in touch with you in a minute. And somebody will get you your Evox rugby pack. Remember, if your coaches out there, very important that you get your guys onto these recovery solutions as quickly as possible. Time for us to take an ad break, and when we come back, well, it's club rugby time. We'll take a look at some of those results over the weekend. It was an interesting game, or at least an interesting weekend. Who went up? Who went down? We're not going to look at logs yet. This is the first weekend. See you in a mo. Welcome back to Cape Rugby TV, folks. Here we have it. It's time now for Club Rugby. This is what we've been waiting for. It's been a couple of months, but heavens knows hardly any of the clubs out there took a break. They just went straight from last year's season, took about 2 weeks off, straight to the gym, straight to the practice field, and just kept going. We might as well have just carried on with the rugby show all the way through and followed your practices all the way through. Let's quickly take a look at the results in Super League A. Well, there you have it. UCT beating Tygerberg 35-14. Hammies 53-11 over Villagers. Durban 23-7 over False Bay. Steinhoff Vics 29-20 over SK Warmers, and Belhar going down to Marties, 67 points to 10. That was a pretty big result then for a couple of those teams. Let's start at the top there. Mr. H, UCT Tygerberg. Tygerberg it's their first time back in Super League, eh?
Yeah, no, and it's not easy to just get back and win.
Yeah.
And those
and
guys,
at home to UCT.
Yeah, it's never easy up there.
Yeah.
And they've had a lot of Varsity Cup rugby behind their back.
I was about to ask you, John, what's your feeling on that? Coming out of Varsity Cup, isn't it an advantage to come out of Varsity Cup and then go into club rugby?
Oh, when I coached UCT, we always lost the first game after Varsity Cup. Maybe it's my coaching, but it's also there were no girls, there was no beer. So it was always a big banana skin. So I think it's a good result for UCT and possibly a bit of a worry for Tygerberg, because I think if UCT are vulnerable, it would have been that sort of game. You know?
Yeah. And then Durban beating False Bay again. As you said last week, Mr. H, to win at Durban.
Very, very difficult.
Always.
Those guys are all set to,
Vix SK Warmers, 29-20. Dobbo, you were out of that game. 29 points to 20 win for Vix over SK Warmers. What did you make of the game?
It was a great game to watch. It was a beautiful running. It really was. I think I really loved it because it was actually 26-20 with SK attacking, and then Vix got a penalty, just took it away at the end. But the lead changed hands. But it really went end to end because Vix are a great running side, and so SK. So it was one of the best club games I've seen for a long time.
Well, SK played not so long ago one of their opening games prior to the Vodacom Cup at Newlands against Helderberg about a month ago or so. And it was the first game. It really looked shabby.
Yeah.
You say going according to my shabby standard, and you say you had a good feeling about SK Warmers?
Yeah, the Labib Levy and them behind the scenes, they always put it together when it counts,
Yeah.
So, credit to them. They're Oasis, and we all predicted when Oasis win, we all predicted it was the worst for SK.
You mean with the losing of the sponsor?
Yeah, and they've become a really, good, they play attractive rugby, they're always mid-table, they sometimes threaten higher, good solid foundation, playing good style of rugby, a nice mix, demographically a hell of a nice mix of a club, so really a really good feeling watching them.
Yeah, Belhar 10, Marties 67. One of the partners in crime and punishers. Morgs, did you score any tries on Saturday?
I didn't, James.
You didn't?
I didn't. Can you believe it? I was hoping you weren't going to ask that question, actually.
Everybody else did.
But you were part of that destructive team there, Marties beating Belhar.
Yeah, look, it was the score is probably not a true reflection of the game. I think we ran away with it in the end.
Yeah.
But if you look at the score after the first 10 minutes, then I must say Belhar definitely were in the lead 7-0 after 2 minutes.
It's Belhar's second year in Super League A now. Do you feel that there's a difference in their style of playing?
Look, I think they're very well coached by Irvin October.
Yeah.
So I definitely think Marties are a good side. They're well oiled after the Varsity Cup.
Yeah.
So, look, Belhar, I think they'll definitely stay up this year. I think they'll beat a few teams, and obviously a few teams going to Belhar are going to have to watch out for them.
Tough game, eh? Marties, first game, season opener. I mean, who wants to play Marties in the season opener? I certainly, I don't know if I'd want to do that. But there again, I've got high hopes for Belhar this year, and I think Belhar are going to do fantastically well. First year is always difficult. Second year is when you start settling into it. Well, let's hope that they do well. Let's take a quick look at the results from Super League B. Of course, Super League B was as hotly contested. 42-8, or at least a 42-6 win for Helderberg over Goodwood. NNK beating Kaiser 49 points to 8. Belleville went 16-8 over Hands and Hearts. Brackenfell 47-29 over Peniel Villages and Collegians. That was the game of the weekend, which Cape Rugby went to cover, losing by just 1 point. Right, Mr. H, if we look at some of those results there, Helderberg, a good win for them over Goodwood, but it's Goodwood's first match back in Super League B.
Yes, and I think they must have got a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
After winning all the games last year, you come with all that hope, high hope, and you get slaughtered.
But Helderberg was the relegated team, eh?
Yeah.
They came down.
Yeah.
So
but they will. I think Helderberg will get up there again.
I mean, it's almost like playing a Premier League A side playing against Super League A side.
Yeah.
If it was a few months ago.
That's how it is.
So, but I've heard good news from Helderberg. I believe that you do have when you get relegated, people tend to get negative. I've heard Helderberg are really being very positive about about the way that they're going about things. NNK 49 over 8 over Kales River. Good result for them there, obviously. We did have some amateur footage taken at NNK. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too amateur for us to put on TV. Brackenfell, of course, having a couple of good pre-season games and getting ready for their rugby. A solid win for them over Peniel Villages. But the weekend match that we went to check out was the match that so many people had been talking to us for the past couple of weeks and saying that this was the match that we had to open up with, was Collegians Primrose. I went down there over the weekend. We went to catch some footage. And of course, there was some great rugby and some interesting results and as many interesting fans. Let's take a look at some of the footage from the game. How do you see the game going?
Oh, well, anybody's game. Derbies are that way, you know. But
Yeah.
I think the team who wants it the most is going to win today.
My heart is still here in Lintegeur with Collegians, so hopefully Collegians will pull it through.
Yeah, nice crowd here at Lintegeur this afternoon. So it's always a cracker when Collegians and Primrose are playing each other. So looking forward to a good one.
Collegians Primrose, massive game. And I tell you, the fans are rather passionate about that one. Mr. H, it's quite a cracker, eh?
Yeah, it was, the spectators got the value for money. The game was right up to the last whistle. It was in the balance. And it was played in a very nice spirit, great game.
Yeah. I don't know. I had one or two little gripes about the game. I thought that the players maybe could have taken ball to hand a bit more. I thought that some of the passes were loose. We could have seen on both sides more scoring.
Yeah, you're quite correct when you say that, and I say it had a lot of entertainment value.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of
What
work to be
entertained
done.
me most, I must say, was one of the Collegians fans standing in front of the Primrose players when they were trying to run through the tunnel. That entertained me the most. I was trying to work that out. If he was trying to give a player, the scorer, kom op die veldjie, ek wag vir jou hierso. Papa wag vir jou, né? But it was a great game. We also caught up with the losing captain and coach. Unfortunately, there has to be a loser, although in this game it was only by 1 point. Tricky out there with the wind blowing, but there was some great rugby played, some great running rugby. We caught up with the losing captain and coach. Let's hear what they had to say. Fareez, didn't quite work out, but it was a tight game.
Yeah, well, just an unlucky day for us. But we've been training hard, so I don't know, there's nothing we can say. We did play good. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to CTV for coming out here today, and thanks for Primroses. It was a hard game. And to Collegians management and coaches, thanks.
and you guys have really been preparing hard for the last few months now. It's now the start of the season. The first game always doesn't always work out 100%.
Yeah.
It's now time to put it into action, and you've still got a long season ahead.
Yeah, like I said, it was just an unlucky day for us, but we'll take it one hurdle at a time.
Yeah, for his thanks and well done.
Thank you.
Well, the coach of Collegians now, losing coach, unfortunately. Adil, 1 point, it's a tight game, but couldn't get any better as a start.
I think for us, yes, it has to be. If you look at everything we've done, very good positives out of this game. We were very astute in our defence, fewer lapses, and I think Primrose took the opportunities that came their way. We didn't give much away. If I look at what we need to work on, a few things, minor tweaking here and there. But in all, I think the youngsters did very well.
Adil, well, listen, we wish you guys the best of luck. It was a tight game, Collegians Primrose. Everybody's been talking about this match, and well, as I say, it was a tight one, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think at the end of the day, rugby showed what it's all about, and I think if we get communities like this supporting each other, we are going to go somewhere. Thank you.
There you go, folks. Yeah, it has been a fantastic occasion. Folks from all over Lentegeur came out to come and watch this game. In fact, all over Cape Town, and you know, Primrose Collegians. What a derby match. Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Well, folks, there always has to be a losing captain and there has to be a losing coach. Unfortunately, that's how it went. Let's speak to the winning captain and the winning coach and see what they had to say. Sizwe, you must be very happy with the result. Close, but you got it.
Yes, I'm happy, man, but we won, but we didn't win the way we're supposed to win. We're supposed to get bonus point, but unfortunately, win is a win.
You look like you've got a great backline.
Yes, yeah, we do have a good backline. I think we're all going to win the bonus point in the next few games. We trust our backline players, man. They've got speed, they've got skill, they've got everything.
Well, listen, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Oh, thanks, man. See you.
We're here now with the coach of Primrose, Herman Masimla. Great win for you guys today.
Yeah, obviously we're very lucky. It could have gone either way. So, I mean, we're just lucky to take a win, take 4 points from this, and we were expecting a contest like that, so we're lucky. It's nice.
First game of the season is always difficult.
Always, yeah, because, you know, that's the first time that you actually put under real pressure, you know, and I think we were put under the pressure today, and we managed it, I think. Collegians played extremely well and denied us the opportunity to play the way we wanted. But I thought, you know, we could have gone a little bit more wider and tried to exploit them out wide, although they also got the pace, but I thought that was our strength.
Well, I'm sure you have more than enough time to fix that during the rest of the season. Best of luck.
Certainly, thank you very much.
Sizwe July very happy about his result there, as well as Herman Masimla, and the boys have been doing quite a lot of preparation. Preparation is what it's all about, Mr. H.
Yeah, they spent some time at the sports science being tested. So
Primrose did?
Yes, they went on a training camp. So they did a lot of good work.
John, how important is off-season training for clubs?
Yeah, it's unfortunately becoming more and more important, you know. Yeah. There's no chance. You've got from January to prepare. It needs 3 months to prepare yourself physically for top level rugby. So less than 3 months, you're not going to make it in terms of conditioning. So it's all.
So when we finish rugby in about at the end of September for club rugby season, give it a month break. And then start with your basics of gymming and aerobics and running.
Gymming, I mean, you're going to lose weight. I mean, that's why this stuff you showed is so important. You know, we got Ruben Johannes in the Vodacom Cup. He's lost 8 kilograms since we started the tournament, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to get as much weight as possible because you know it's going to come back on. So that's that November-December period, and then the actual rugby conditioning starting in January.
Bulk it up, bulk it up. Well, folks, it wasn't only captain and coach, but as usual, we have courtesy of Tata Oosterberg and Tata Paul. Ivan Lindner and the guys were out there to reward one of the players that did so fantastically over the weekend. And we asked the guys from the Radio 786 and Voice of the Cape team to select the man of the match. They made an unbiased decision, and the man of the match this week went to Ashraf Williams, the number 7 flank for Primrose. Let's see what he had to say. Apparently he's a very quiet guy. Folks, right now with me now is, of course, Ashraf Williams, number 7 for Primrose. Ashraf, great game.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. This was a tough game. We always look forward to this game. Looking forward to the season. We practice very hard, so well done to Collegians for giving us a tough game. Thank you.
And you must be thrilled to be walking away with a R1,000 man of the match prize here, courtesy of Tata Oostenburg, Mr. Ivan Lindmer, and the guys from Paul. Nice little bit of pocket money.
Yeah, I think all the guys, I've spent it amongst them, so I'm going to give it to them, yeah.
Ivan, you happy with the game and the way things went?
Absolutely, Ashraf, well done. I hope you'll share some cool drinks, some Jive cool drinks with the guys, but enjoy that.
Okay. There you go, folks. It's been a great day here at Lentegeur. Isn't that absolutely amazing? They tell me Ashraf is one of the quietest players that you can never get him to talk. Unbelievable what a microphone can do. One of the things that was talking the most over the weekend was Twitter. We'll get into that a little bit later. Morgs, R1,000 for the man of the match as a club rugby player. That's big, eh?
Yeah, James. That's. I mean, Tata obviously coming on board, and it's awesome to see. I'm just waiting for him to come to a Marty's game now. Hopefully I'll play well.
Is that kind of incentive important, Jono? I mean, what does it mean to the guys? I mean, I've never had a man of the match. I've never
funny that. Yeah. No, I haven't either. But in the professional teams, even the guys get a ball which is signed, and it's actually quite an important thing.
Yeah.
As much as the one side is the financial, it's a fantastic financial prize.
Yes.
But that recognition, it's a special thing. It's a very special thing.
Yeah, R1,000, Mr. H. I mean, this has never happened in the history.
No,
in the history of club rugby.
Fantastic for the guys.
Yeah. I know that there's no other club organisation in the country that does that, huh?
No, I know.
So once again to the guys from Tata, Paul, Ivan Lindner, Tata, Paul, and Oostenburg, folks. By the way, really, if you want to get yourself a good value vehicle at a very, very low cost that's affordable, those cars are of great value. Go and check out Tata, Oostenburg, or Paul. Get in touch with the guys from. Get in touch with Ivan Lindner. They are really, truly supporting club rugby and the Cape Rugby TV show, and that's exactly what we need. Just to quickly, one of the most exciting parts that I found of the game was the fact that during the game, I was able to watch on Twitter all of the scores coming in from all of the clubs. And it's been incredible what those media representatives from each club have done at the Western Province Rugby media seminars, and how everybody have grouped together to share the information. And I'm just sitting here right now looking on my computer at some of the tweets that have been coming in and some of the sharing of the results. And if I just look at this, there's Ansel and April just put out a tweet. Herman Masimla at Primrose, good one for them, can become one of the fittest outfits in Super League B. Hermie has high premium on fitness. It's interesting to see if I go, and there's Ahid from Western Province just tweeted as well. JP Nordier excludes Morgan from winning man of the match at Marty's. Sorry. Give him a Tata instead. But if I go even further back and I just look at some of the results over the weekend, it was so fantastic to see everybody share the results, because we could literally see what the first score was, what the halftime score was, what the full-time score was, and everybody was tweeting and retweeting. So while we were on the side of the field at Dichat in Lentegeur, I was able to sit on my phone and see what was happening at the other games. And that was really fantastic. So remember, what you need to do is on Saturdays, on game days, is just include in your tweet while you're watching the game that hashtag #WPClubRugby. And that way we can all see the scores coming in combined. And it creates this amazing stream of combining and uniting all the leagues and all the divisions of Western Province Rugby. Moms, dads, families, anywhere around the world that are looking for that hashtag #WPClubRugby can follow what we're doing. And so it is absolutely an incredible tool that if you can't be at the game, or even if you're at the game and you want to find out what's happening in somebody else's game, the different perspectives that's coming in. And because everybody looks at things in different ways. Like when I look at Mr. H from this side, I see he's got a nice snore. And Jono will look at him from that side and say he's got a nice shoulders. Right. So we all have different perspectives on things, and some people will say, anyway, so Twitter on a Saturday, guys, you've got to get into it. It's absolutely amazing tool. But of course, one of the other things, Mr. H, and I saw it again now on Saturday, is the bonding of the two teams after the match. And once again, you from Western Province Rugby, this is something that keeps working, where back in the olden days, the clubs used to basically corner each other. But now it's a different thing. People are getting together after the game just to say hello, share a bit of camaraderie, and make each other feel welcome.
Yeah, no, I must say that at that time, after we donored one another, we still had a drink afterwards, then we forget about it.
Yeah.
And maybe you might start blikseming one another again afterwards.
Yeah.
But It is a
maybe not. What am I saying?
it is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
To see that the people go off the field, the officials and the team members mingle, and it's fantastic.
We caught up with some of the guys at the after-match function. We don't always have time for it. It's very difficult. But we did think that to go out and have a look at the after-match function of Primrose and Collegians was important. And we managed to catch a little bit of time there before our battery ran flat. Let's see what they had to say afterwards.
A great day of rugby. You know, for me, the results probably less important. And what's more important is the spirit in which the game was played, the community involvement, the enjoyment, and for me, rugby was the winner on the day.
Once again, thank you very much for the hospitality shown here today, and good luck to the Collegians for the rest of the season. Thank you.
From the referee side, good luck to both clubs for the season. We're looking forward to coming back to you, and thank again Collegians for your hospitality, and well done Primrose. I think this game could have gone either way. You get goosebumps when you run out there and the people scream and support the teams like that. But from our side, thank you very, very much for your support as well.
Guys, it's great to see people along next to the field, and I know that both clubs are very strong, as Doc said, at junior level, you're very strong at senior level. Keep on working hard and keep on drawing the people to the field with the type of rugby that you are playing. I hope everything of the best. It's the first game of the season. It was a great game. And once again to the referees, guys, you did a great job. Thank you very much.
Well done to both clubs, and I think you guys are doing an awesome job both on your junior structure and your senior structure. And for me, actually, what was hearing today, it was heartening to say that 13 of the first team players come from the under 7 stream. I mean, that is the one. I don't think there's any club that can match that kind of achievement. So guys, well done on that, and to keep up the good work. And so all the best to both clubs, and well done once again. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing to see members of the Western Province Rugby executive at the field level. Mr. H, obviously very important for you guys to go out there and represent.
Yes, no, it is so. We can't be everywhere, but it's great to see people like Mr. Mare and other people go around. I know others went to other fields.
Yeah.
And the Vodacom team was playing somewhere to go there.
Yeah.
So it's great.
John, tell us a little bit about, from a Western Province Rugby point of view now. I mean, you're as a coach of the Vodacom squad. The connection between Western, yourself, maybe from a Western Province point of view, but also on a personal level, the connection to the clubs.
We're trying to, with working very closely with Jerome, to make sure that we can show club players that can go from literally club rugby into the sort of so-called professional teams. And our team is playing on Saturday against SVD in Duisseldorp, has got 11 contracted players and 11 so-called amateur non-contracted players. And a couple of those guys have come through the talent identification program Mr. H and Jerome have been working on. So that's exciting. So a guy like Gafur Lukan had a very good game for SK Warmers last week on the wing.
Yeah.
And now he's playing for Western Province on Saturday. And I think if we can show that these aren't two separate worlds, and that I think at the Vodacom Cup is my crucial job, is to show, okay, we've got some professional players. Morgs has played there on his way to the Stormers and that sort of thing. If we're going to have some professional players, but if we can give club players the opportunity to come through there, that's a very important part of the Vodacom job. And I grew up, I think you as well, Japes. In 1989, we could watch a Currie Cup final at Newlands on Saturday and an SA Cup final on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We could watch 5 club games if you ran between Newlands A and Newlands B and that sort of thing. So it's in the blood. Yeah.
Well, did you tell us a little bit about your history of rugby? Not school rugby, club rugby. Where did you play club rugby?
I played for a couple of clubs. I played for UCT obviously, and then I played for Northern's Avonwood, which was run by Dougie Dyers at the time. It's now, I think we just call it, it's just still Northerns. Just call it Northerns.
Northerns.
And that was quite interesting because.
But wasn't that on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, well,
Mr. H?
I went from.
That was to say, I can't there.
No, I know. I didn't. If I'd known then, look, as a sort of privileged fellow who was stuck in the ivory tower on the hill, I didn't know the difference between Saru and Federation. That's the thing. Yeah. I wanted to go and play in a township, and experience that because I thought we got. I need to see it to understand rugby. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
I regret not going to a Saru club because I thought it would be more. There would be more value as opposed to an old rugby board club. But I think my father might have kicked me out. I'm not sure.
Did you feel any tension back in the day? I mean, you were playing for the disadvantaged clubs versus the white clubs. I mean,
that was the most perverse thing. I think it happens in those days. It was pre Nelson Mandela's release, and that's we played against white clubs and they target the white fella, you know.
Yes.
I've got 2 coloured props next to me if you're more interested in that. We've come a long way since then, haven't we? With all respect, so.
Yeah, no, but I mean, and do you feel the connection? I mean, would you ever leave Western Province Rugby?
I mean, this is the most, you know, in a sense, people from outside, it's impossible to understand from outside, but if you're in there, it's in your blood. I mean, I would, you know, if Western Province fired me tomorrow because we lose 5 or 6 games, I'd report to a club and start again because it's what's my DNA. It's
because I mean that's one of the problems that we have, Mr. H, is with coaches who come to Western Province and they're in what I call essentially is a floater. Okay, it's not the thing that you find in the toilet, but what I call it, okay, it's a floater, but it's close though, because what they do is they float from wherever the money is. You know, I mean, what we want is we want coaches who are understanding the union, who understand the history of club rugby. You can't come here and say, well, you can't handle the politics, because Western Province Rugby is about diversity. It's about politics. It is politics. You can't say, well, I couldn't handle the politics. If you don't come to Western Province, then surely we want coaches like John, who is heart and soul Western Province Rugby. And I mean, there you heard it. He's from...
His pedigree is right.
Ja, ek meen die man is... die man moes op Good Hope FM gewerk het vir 'n paar jaar, né? I'm sure you would have done well with Nigel Pearce for a few years. But anyway, but important for us to have coaches who understand club rugby through and through, and that there's not a division between the high and the low.
No. You know, I always believe that if you see talent, if you're a coach, you will see talent.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah.
And you will know that player, even if he plays in Division 4, that if you work with him, you can make something out of him.
But of course, if your problem is, if in your mind, your focus is still on like, where am I going to get my next contract? Or where's the next big paycheck coming from? You're not really interested in this so much because you keep worrying about how much you're going to impress the next big payout.
That's why we sign 3 or 4 year contracts.
Yeah.
Isn't it so?
Jono, you can handle politics, huh?
You've got to.
Don't worry. Okay, we'll leave it right there. Okay, so okay, I don't want to hear from any more coaches out there that couldn't handle politics. That's why they leave Western Province Rugby. Okay, Western Province Rugby is all about politics. All right, politics means transformation. Yeah. Politics means development. Politics is what saved South Africa. All right, politics is what took South Africa out of apartheid. Wake up to the fact that we are about politics. All right, politics is the art of governance. Go to the Oxford Dictionary and look it up. It is as simple as that if you want the definition of politics. Let's quickly look at some of the other results. Wat meneer H, jy lag nou vir my. Hoekom lag jy vir my?
Hoping that the Minister of Sport was listening to you and he might appoint you as his spokesperson.
I have already got pictures saying out there that I must stand for president of the ANC Youth League. Right? And I didn't make that poster. That poster was made by the folks at Tygerberg who came to watch the last game at Collegians. Will I stand as... I don't know. But anyway, let's quickly rush through some of those results. We do want to get into that. In Premier League A then, St. George's going down to Paarl. Kraaifontein beating Langa. Scottsdene 21-20 over Rangers. Elsie's Raffier 6-9 over Hamlets. That was tight. I am coming to Elsie's at some stage. I know the scarp is there. UWC beating Young Peoples 20 points to 0. Stelkor 13-12 over Eerste River. Mr. H, I got an urgent phone call on Saturday from Andre Gabriels at Stelkor. They say they just won their first game in something like 5 years.
Actually, because they went down.
Yes, I mean they're going down and down and down and down. They haven't even won a single game, he says. So, to Stelkor, Stellenbosch Coronations, well done, guys. That win, put it in the bag. Okay, let's hope you get more. Okay.
Just tell him it's not the end of the season now.
He was so excited. I mean, that means for them new sponsors, maybe. I don't know what it means. Solarians 66-13 over Milnerton. Ooh, Ishmael Dolly's team. Ishmael Dolly coaching at Milnerton, right?
Yeah.
Morgs, that's your friend Dolls, huh?
Yeah, he likes some running rugby. I mean, I think I learned it straight at UCT, so I'm sure you'll see some good rugby from there.
Two connections that we're talking about, Wayne Julies on the one side and Quinton Davids, both at Solarians, up against Ishmael Dolly. And it looks like Solarians gave them a bit of a hiding, 66-13. Yeah, anyway, we'll leave it right at that. Sorry, Dolly, but a bit of a way to go there. Franschhoek beating Laguna, Macassar 22-16 over Silvertree, and Van der Stel unfortunately going down to Strand United. Well, unfortunate for them. In Division 1, if we can take a look at those results there, it was a close one for Silver Leaf as they lost to Rocklands. Northerns going down to Strand 27-13. Roland Mark against Young Stars 0-0. I think that was more a question of one of those teams not putting their scores in. I don't think that was a draw. Young Wesley's 10-11 loss for them against Hamadias. Manenberg Rangers beating Wraithbees 9-3. Paul 14-23 loss for them, unfortunately, against Violets. Let's quickly look at Division 3 there. Strand Pioneers, 1 point win for them over Masiphumelele. Whistling Wheels. The Wheels have come off already. 20 points to 15 loss to Peninsula. The Caledonian Roses. Callies, come to me, please. Come to me. Callies. We'll just get a quick shot over here with our cameraman, and we'll show you if we can get Mr. H to just step out of the way. You'll see there's a new jersey up on the back there. Camera number 2. Camera number 2. Monday. There we go, Kelly's. Kelly's is up. All right, folks, there you go. Send us your jerseys. Send us your jerseys. We'll get them up for you. Right, unfortunately, we don't have time to get through all of the scores. We have to now give you that opportunity to win yourself a 42-inch Mesa plasma screen courtesy of Mesa. Mesa is, of course, the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby. 42-inch plasma screen. That is what you can win for yourself. But before we do that, let's give away last week's prize. Remember, the number that you're going to be SMSing to shortly is 33280. Congratulations to last week's winner, Len Daly. Len wins for himself a Mesa Express Slate tablet PC. Of course, you can win yourself some great prizes as well, courtesy of Mesa. This week's big prize is that Mesa 42-inch plasma screen. As you see in the screens behind me, you can take a look at that in a minute. 1920 by 1080 pixels, 16 by 9 definition. It's got 2 HDMI ports, VGA, S-Video, RSCA, USB. It's got a TV tuner, as it obviously would have, so you can tune in and watch Cape Rugby TV. And if you want to win that 42-inch plasma, grab your cell phone now and tell us who is the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby. Just SMS your name and answer to 33280. It is as easy as that. 33280, and you can win yourself that Mesa 42-inch plasma screen. Right, while we were out of the games over the weekend, and we'll remind you of that SMS number in a minute if you want to write it down. Just tell us who's the official IT supplier. But while we were out of the games over the weekend, a lot of folks on the sidelines were taking some pictures. We had some great pick of the weeks sent in on Facebook and to the Cape Rugby site, and some people sent to me on my personal site, and of course uploaded to the Western Province Club Rugby Facebook fan page. Let's take a look at some of the pictures that rolled in. This was my first favourite picture. Ivan Lindner there in shot. That was your Tata Man of the Match picture. 1,000 Rand going then, of course, to Ashraf Williams from Primrose, but I thought that was a very nice picture. Courtesy of Rashid Isaacs. I think Rashid posts for the People's Post, or takes pictures for the People's Post. Great shot. Great eye that Rashid has. Next photograph that came in, and I especially love this shot, is of the youth guys. Islamia College up against Plumstead High School. And they played at Vygiskraal over the weekend. Islamia won that. They're on the 19 side. They won that 21 points to 11. Another great pick from Rashid Isaacs. And just goes to show how many people are getting out there. Look at that. Islamia and the kids getting into their rugby season earlier. And then our next picture came in from Leandra Julie. This was MIT Rangers against Wraithby Universals. Little taking the line out there. It looks like our old Lions jerseys that the guys are wearing there. Right. That does look a bit like, for a moment there, I thought I saw James Dalton on the... In actual fact, didn't see him on the show yet. I thought we got James Dalton on the panel right now. Did anyone ever compare you to James Dalton?
Often, yeah.
Bullet Dalton. Bullet Dalton, yeah. But I heard also that Doppies Lagranci was called Doppies Lagranci because there was another guy who used to run the 100 meters who was faster than him. So he was a bullet. And Doppies was always second, so he was the Doppie. And that's where he came up with his nickname. Morgs, nice to see these pictures coming in from the fans. Huh?
Yeah, James, obviously it's always nice, to get a picture of, you never walk past these guys in the street, you never know if they look familiar, you've seen them on Cape Rugby TV, so, obviously nice for them to send their pictures in.
John, do you think? I mean, it must be nice. Do we get the guys at HPC to meet the club guys ever? If you walk down the mall, are they aware of the clubs? Do they know the clubs? I mean, you've got some development guys coming through now, so they obviously.
But it's a big challenge. We have to move the HPC close to. Well, I believe that. You know, I think there's maybe an opportunity now for us to do that.
Yes.
Because like we do quizzes with my teams, and I'll say to them, you know, of which club is Kasim Barnes president? So because they've never heard of Rangers, you know. So. These guys must realise we've got to sell to these professional guys, especially these guys we've recruited at, you know, Craven Week or at Wilderklaver, come from like Gary van Asperg, who's from Mpumalanga. He'd have little natural, it's not his fault, appreciation of who Rathby United or Manenberg Rangers are. And I think it's part of our job at Belleville to educate these guys. Listen, we're coming to a special environment with the greatest club system in the country.
Well, that is part of your job. Those are your bosses. They own the union.
They pay me.
and they will remind you of that again and again. A nice tweet coming in here from Solarians RFC. Union Mill got properly steamrolled by the heavy train. Yeah, no, guys. Keep those tweets coming in. And by the way, that's a great idea, actually. Maybe it's time for us to have a Western Province Club Rugby, Cape Rugby TV quiz show. We'll find a location and we get a whole... If you're interested, send us a tweet or send us a message on Facebook. Are you keen on doing a quiz maybe once a week or once a month, where we all get together, we get some prizes, we get some sponsorships, we get some goodie bags, we have some snacks, and we do a Western Province Club Rugby quiz. I know that the godfather of Club Rugby, Mr. Herman Abrams here, will be able to answer all the questions, so we'll have to take him out of the mix, okay? But if you're interested, that's a great idea, a Western Province Club Rugby quiz. Send us a tweet. Are you interested? Join us on Facebook if you're interested. All right? www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Right, it's of course time for us to look after some of our other sponsors. Leisure Hotels. You want to win yourself a night of accommodation courtesy of Leisure Hotels. Last week's winner was Gary Gray. Congratulations to Gary. Gary wins himself one night's accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers, a beautiful hotel in the absolute middle of the city centre, close to everything. If you want to win yourself accommodation, one night's bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers, then just SMS the word leisure, which is of course part of the Leisure Hotels group. SMS the word leisure to 33280. You can see it there in the top left hand side of the screen, and you could put yourself in line to win a night's accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers. Congratulations once again to Gary Gray. Time for us to take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some of the fixtures coming up over the weekend. This is going to be interesting. Who's up against who? Now things start to change a little bit. Back in a sec. Hello, welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV Wednesday is live at 9. My panel this evening is Morgan Newman, John Dobson and Herman Abrams. Great to have these rugby experts on the panel, and we look forward to seeing more of them and bring you more expert opinion from the world of club rugby. Let's quickly look at the fixtures. We're running tight on time, so we're going to race through these. Won't, unfortunately, be able to give you all of the names, but let's have a look at some of them. Let's start off with Super League A over the weekend. False Bay up against Hammies. It's going to be a tough one. UCT take on Belhar, another tough one for Belhar. Vixen, Durban, Tigerberg and SK Warmers. Marties and Villagers. There's going to be a cracker of a match at Brookside. It's home for Villagers. In Super League B, it's Goodwood and Collegians, Hands on Hearts, NNK, Kuilsriver and Helderberg. Peniel Villagers take on Belleville at Peniel, and Primrose take on Brackenfell on their home ground at Rosemead. In Premier League A, it's Hamlets against Scottsdene. Hamlets playing at home in Mamre. Nice to have you guys on board, and glad you guys are picking up that signal. Lunga take on St. George's. Paul and Young Peoples. That match is still to be confirmed. Rangers and Kraaifontein. UWC and Elsie's River. Oh, hier kom het dan. Eerste Rivier take on Solarians in Kleinvlei. Franschhoek take on Solarians. Oops, I think we got a duplicate there. Milnerton take on Stelkor. Silvertree and Laguna. Strand United and Macassar. In Division 1, it's Hamadias and Boerland. Manenberg take on Silverleaf. Rocklands take on Young Wesleys. And in Division 2, I would say the pick there would probably be, Mr. H, would you say maybe Blue Stars, Blues Jets?
Yeah, it could be.
Pick of the match? Pick of the weekend? Yeah, possibly. In the Division 3, it's Cloetesville and Young Ideas. Masipumalele take on Whistling Wheels. There's going to be a rivaling match. Masipumalele playing in the home ground advantage for them. In the Paarl region, it's Albions and Simondium. It's Allendale and Lower Paarl. Windmill United and Vineyards. Young Gardens take on Riverstones at Del Josephat, and Young Standards take on Violets Paarl, also at Del Josephat. Mr. H, a lot of those grounds get shared there at Del Josephat, right?
Yeah, no, There's about 5 or 6 fields
Teams that
there
play together,
on the same venue.
Talking about fields, of course, you want to make sure that you have an environmentally friendly white line marker for your field. All right. I don't know if you saw the Bulls game last week, but clearly they weren't using anything environmentally friendly. Looked like they put pitch on the field. All right. Like it was black because they obviously must have played basketball on the night before because they had that round circle on the field. Was that soccer? Soccer, basketball. So I always get confused between the soccer field and the basketball. The next day you see the lines. Anyway, whoever painted that line, those lines there, should have been using environmentally friendly white line marker. You want to win yourself a white line hamper courtesy of Colour Tone Paints. It's now time for White Line Fever. All you need to do is SMS the number 33280. Send the word Colour Tone, COLORTONE, to 33280. Tell us who your club is. This week's winner was Strand Pioneers. Congratulations to Strand Pioneers. You do win for yourself a Colour Tone White Line Fever hamper. And remember, of course, Colour Tone paints are available at your nearest hardware store. Let's take a look at the Stormers team now that's been announced, the team that's going to be taking on the Reds this weekend. Of course, a couple of changes. Let's take a look there. It's Joe Peterson, of course, at fullback, Gerard van Eever, Brian Banner, Jean de Jong, Gia Plon, Peter Grant, Deval Divenacher, Wayne Vermeulen takes over as captain, Reynard Elstad. In fact, I still haven't mentioned any new names. Sia Kolisi, still no new name. De Kok Steenkamp, Eben Etzebeth, Brock Harris, Tiaan Liebenberg and Steven Kitzel. You would imagine that that could be your starting team. And then on the bench, Dion Ferry, Frans Malherbe, Nick Costa, Nizam Carr, Louis Schroeder, Burton Francis, JP du Plessis. The referee is Steve Walsh. I must say I'm quite happy with his refereeing. Kickoff in Brisbane on Saturday. On Saturday at 11:40. Mr. H, you laugh about the Steve Walsh thing?
No, I won't say anything.
You won't say anything, all right. John, I mean, if I look at that team, you would have picked that team as if it's a normal team.
It's what you said earlier. Despite those injuries of great names like Becker, De Villiers and Berg, you're still putting out a team that's strong. It's a great reflection on rugby in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, the moment we all keep waiting for, and Morgan Newman hates it because he has now gone so far down the league of Super Brew that, and I am quickly going to check on Facebook in case anybody did send us any questions. Haven't had much time to get to you guys this week, but we will see if we can answer any questions. Let's quickly go through our Super Brew predictions. John, you're welcome to jump in here, but I'm not going to force you to. Morgs, let's go with you first. Highlanders against the Blues.
Highlanders 10, JP.
Highlanders 10, Mr. H.
Highlanders 10.
Highlanders 10. I'm going to go with the Highlanders by 5. It's the Reds up against the Stormers. They're playing in Brisbane. Morgs?
Stormers by 5.
Stormers by 5, Mr. H.
Stormers 7.
Stormers 7. I'm going to take the Stormers by 10. Hurricanes and the Crusaders. Morgs?
I went Crusaders by 7.
You went Crusaders by 7, Mr. H?
Crusaders 5.
Oh, you're so happy now, eh? And I, of course, went by?
Yeah.
What would I have gone by?
Probably 7.
No, Crusaders by 5, because for some other reason we always... Do you look at my picks somewhere? Do you go look before you make your picks?
I don't know.
It's the Waratahs against the Rebels. That's happening in Sydney on Saturday. And Morgs?
Waratahs 8.
Waratahs 8.
Waratahs 4.
Waratahs 4. I'm going to go Waratahs by 10. I think they're back in the winning streak. I think the Rebels are busy taking a bit of a crunch. Of course, the Sharks against the Cheetahs back at home. The Sharks, at least not against the Cheetahs, against the Chiefs. The Sharks are back at home. They must be happy but tired after that trip. Morgs?
Sharks 6.
You would take the Sharks, though?
I would.
Chiefs 8.
Care to hamper a guess there, Jono?
Mr. H is right.
Chiefs by 8. I think Mr. H is right again, but I'm going to go slightly higher. I'm going to go Chiefs by 4. Are you going Chiefs by 8? Bulls and the Brumbies. The Bulls at home to the Brumbies. And this is when I put my thing in, Stupid Brew put up a warning and said, "Are you sure you want to make this pick?" Morgs?
James, I'm sticking my neck and I'm going Bulls by 18.
Bulls by 18. Mr. H?
Bulls 9.
Bulls 9. Now you will see why Super Brew jumped up and said, "Hey, you idiot, are you sure you want to make this prediction?" I'm going with the Brumbies by 4. And let's have a quiz. Salim Mohammed send in a tweet here. Let's have a quiz. It's Cliff Khat, JP, not the Khat. All right. I think it varies though because some people are not. We try to get to the bottom of this why the Khat started becoming called the Cliff Khat. Watching through live stream on Cape Rugby TV website. Hello to everybody that is live on the live stream out there. Connie Constance is watching on the live stream from Solarians, aka the Navy train. Tigerberg posted a photograph up there for us now. We'll have a look at that picture. I'm looking forward to see what Tigerberg put up there. Maybe it's my Youth League campaign picture once again. We'll see what comes up. But yes, folks, if you're out there, at Cape Rugby TV is our Twitter handle, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. That is our Facebook page. And if you want to do the quiz, let us know. I think it's a great idea. Morgan Newman, big game for you guys over the weekend?
Yeah, James, big game at Villages. It's never easy to go on the Brookside, so we're looking forward to it. I think it should be a good one.
Mr. H, we haven't decided yet.
Tonight.
No, Vic's are playing tonight.
Vic's are playing
sorry,
tonight.
I'm rushing. I'm going to catch a second half.
We're going to rush after this.
Right, folks, we are still having to make our decision about where we are filming this weekend, but we will be filming at a club that has managed to supply their coaches' names, their managers' names, and filled in their data details at the union. We will be taking off the books those clubs that have not filled in their data, all right? We need your coaches' names, we need your managers' names, we need the contact details. Those are the clubs that we will be picking from. So we haven't made our selection just yet of who we are coming to this weekend, but I'm sure it's going to be a humdinger of a match wherever we do decide to come to. Mr. H, would you like to venture a shot in the dark there quickly? Well, we'll get to that later. Jono, what's the next step for you guys?
We play SVD in Duisseldorp this Saturday afternoon, which will be quite an interesting experience. Yeah.
You're also on the map to get out to some of the clubs. You're helping some of the coaches at the moment.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, if any club wants any of the Vodacom coaches to come to a session, be it Labib Levy on lineouts or skills, or me on breakdown or whatever I'm good at, if there's anything, Darby's name on attack. Collegians have asked Kasim to come and help us on the management issues. So please, any club wants us to come out there in the evening and do any form of coaching.
Who do they contact?
Kasim Barnes or myself. Just ring up Belleville and ask for Kasim
ring
or
up
myself.
Belleville. Folks, if
very grateful.
Otherwise you get hold of Herman Abrams, we'll get hold of Jono, and he'll come out into your club and he'll come help you with a couple of drills, teach you a little bit about more putting strategy together. Nothing better than that is getting one of these skilled guys from HPC out to your club who's willing to come there in the evening and talk to your players and talk to your coaches. That is the kind of input that we're looking for from Western Province Rugby, and we're absolutely thrilled, Jono, that you're making yourself available to do that. Morgs, Jono, Mr. H, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Jake. It's good to be here always.
That's a wrap, folks. We'll see you guys next week, Wednesday, same time, same place. Cape Rugby TV, Wednesdays live at 9. Catch us on YouTube, catch us on Twitter, and catch us on Facebook. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.